Hey, it's Mark LaCour with MotoPoint, also co-host of Oil and Gas This Week, also co-host of Oil and Gas HS&E, with many more podcasts to come. We've had so many people reach out to us and want to know the story of Oil and Gas This Week that we thought we'd shoot a quick video. So this is the official site for Oil and Gas This Week, and our story is actually very interesting. The story of Oil and Gas This Week started at the end of 2014 when my marketing guy, James Hahn, came to me and said that we need to start a podcast. And I quite honestly thought it was a stupid idea. And I told him no. And eventually he kept on me so much that eventually I said yes, just to shut him up. Come to find out I was wrong, naturally, right? So beginning of 2015, we launched the podcast. And we had a lot of challenges in the very beginning. It was a new medium for us. We had never done a podcast before, so it was a little bit scary. And then the technology involved. We had so many technical problems starting the podcast. So many new equipment and new processes and new software, glitches along the way. And it got to be frustrating a lot, but we kept plugging away. And then for me, just working with somebody else, right? MotoPoint is my company. Things are run my way, and there's not really other people involved. Where with the podcast, it was a joint venture. So things like conflicting schedules, different ways of thinking about things, different times of day that people wanted to record. All that was new for us, and it was a challenge, but we persevered and we worked through. And then when it came to sponsorship, that was another whole ball of wax. Trying to convince companies that their marketing dollars are well spent sponsoring a podcast in oil and gas, which is used to doing marketing in a kind of old-fashioned way, was a hard thing to pull off. It was a challenge. But we eventually figured out the right way to approach companies about sponsorship. And at the same time, we also figured out how we provide high value for our sponsors. So now our sponsors love us to death and we understand what we need to do. But at the beginning, it was a struggle. And then if you've been a fan of Oil and Gas This Week for any time, you know that we changed co-host. Changing co-host, once again, was a real challenge for us to find the right person, the right personality, somebody with the technical abilities, and somebody that was a natural on the microphone. And I was very lucky that we found Jake Corley. And so now the show is settled into a routine. The show sits on Oil and Gas Global Network, which is our media company for oil and gas, and we have other shows coming on it. But in the beginning, it was a real challenge for us to start this podcast. Now we're in a place where we're growing, and we're growing like crazy. It's a different challenge, and it's actually a good challenge to have. But once again, it's something that it's new for us. How do we grow the podcast? How do we handle all these inbound requests? How do we handle all the different companies that want us to do podcasts for them? Which podcasts are worth us doing and which one they're not? Once again, it's new, but it's just a great story. So we had a bunch of challenges starting this podcast, and we've got them all worked out. And we're looking forward to the future. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to be able to share our knowledge and our expertise. And quite honestly, it's a wonderful thing to interface with our audience. If you've listened to the show, when we get something wrong, I'm the first to admit, waves my hand, you know what, we had something wrong. So we learn. So this whole thing is really cool. And the reason I'm shooting this video is I want you to know that you can do it too. If you'd like to have your own podcast, like Oil and Gas This Week, we can help you. Reach out to us. We have the audience. We have the network, an Oil and Gas Global Network. If you have a good idea, let us know. We'd be happy to help you stand it up, help you find a sponsor, and have your podcast on our network. So hopefully this is a bit of an inspirational story. If you're out there thinking about doing a podcast and you think you can't do it, look at us. I thought it was a bad idea. I didn't want to do it. We had all kinds of challenges along the way, and yet now we're sitting on the #1 podcast in the oil and gas industry, and it's a wonderful thing. If you're a listener out there, if you're a member of our audience, thank you. Without you, we could have never done this. And we thank all of our new listeners, right, that just joined us, and all our original listeners when the podcast was not really that good. We've gotten much better. So from me to you, and our audience out there, thank you very much. Like I said, if we can help you, if you have an idea for a podcast like Oil and Gas This Week, reach out to us, let us know. We'd love to have you join our network. See you later.